In 2017, Disney Studios released the latest trailer for their live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast to be released later this year in the summer of 2017. It was generally well regarded and well received, according to the like-dislike ratio. However, some, like myself, felt that there were problems indicated in the trailer to a much larger problem. My name is Thomas Wade, aka New Fate 26, and I'm here to take a closer look. In recent years, Disney Studios has been finding themselves in great success, so much so that some are calling it a new renaissance for the studio. From their yearly full-length animated feature films, to their acquisition of the Marvel Studios film universe, to their recent adaptations of their classic animated features. The studio has had more success than failures in the past few years. These adaptations of classic Disney cinema have ranged from the absolutely great, such as Maleficent, to the absolutely abysmal, such as Mirror Mirror, to the absolutely mediocre, such as Cinderella. However, all of these films have brought with them a unique idea and interpretation to the classic story that allows the filmmaker to call them their own to the modern age. Like many people, I grew up watching Disney as a child, and indeed, I grew up during the so-called Second Renaissance, watching such classics as The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Lion King, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and yes, Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is a highly regarded animated film, being one of the few to be nominated for the Best Picture of its year. The first time I watched the trailer, the only thing that came to my mind was Gus Van Sant's classic adaptation of Alfred Hitchcock's phenomenal film, Psycho. The Psycho that was a shot-for-shot remake and bombed in theaters and is considered one of the worst adaptations ever made. Much like in that version of Psycho, what we see is not originality or a new idea, but merely an aping of a classic film made by filmmakers at the pinnacle of their art. We don't see originality, but instead, what we see is derivativeness and copying and aping of greatness. And by aping of design, I don't simply mean that the story follows the same beats as it does the classic. That would just be silly. After all, Beauty and the Beast is based on the small light novella published in France originally, and has been interpreted several times across all forms of media, from television to radio to film and video games. No, instead of something original, what Bill Condon and his team appear to be giving us is merely a copy of the animated film that has been retrofitted for a live-action audience. Everything from the set design to the original characters to the costuming to the individual particular story beats to the music to the original songs. All of it that we've seen has been lifted wholesale from the animated version brought to us by Disney 15 years ago. In 2014, Christoph Gans, the director of possibly one of my favorite movies of all times, The Brotherhood of the Wolf, released his own version of Beauty and the Beast, starring Vincent Cassel. While this film did indeed harken back to the original French cinema for its interpretation and character design, overall you could see that he brought his own touch to it and his own ideas to the story and what he believed. And that is why, for me, I consider this trailer to be an absolute failure and an indication that the film is headed in the direction that I do not care for. I want to see a film bring originality, a new idea to the table, something that we haven't seen before. And instead, the only showcasing of that originality that we see is a throwaway joke about some of the books in the library being written only in Greek. That said, the idea of a remake is not something that I would just dismiss out of hand, simply for being a remake. There have been many great remakes in the past, ranging from the truly brilliant, like Cecil B. DeMille's retelling of the Ten Commandments from his own version 10 years before, to even the mindless action remake of The Magnificent Seven. While nowhere near the classic that the original was, it holds its own charm as mindless action filler. But what those films do is bring their own interpretation and ideas to the story. Instead of simply copying what came before them, they brought something new, something original. And that is what disappoints me most about this new version. The lack of originality, the lack of an idea, the lack of a heart and soul. Instead, it truly is nothing more than a mindless cash grab. All that being said, this has been a closer look at the 2017 trailer of Beauty and the Beast. Feel free to tell me how much I suck in the comments below, and possibly any criticism and feedback you feel I need or deserve. Until next time, praise Keck, and have a good day.